And we're back once again, only on It's Last Call. Last Call to alcohol, only on the lastcallpodcast.com. And actually, this will be for the YouTube channel. So for all those who are surfing around, we're doing some wrestling preview. It's this weekend. It's a triple header, but we're going to be talking about the first ones here, which everybody's talking about. We got TNA Emergence this Friday on the 30th, and then all the way we'll have WD Bash in Berlin. And the good news, folks, is both of these cards are literally not longer than combined 11 matches, which is 3 matches even less than the whole AEW card. It's a whole different story, different day. But when I talk wrestling, I bring in the guy who knows everything, sees everything, and, well, he's not afraid to drop flutes, to drop elbows, and drop even hot takes. I give you, once again, for Pro Wrestling Times himself, I give you it's Phil Marks. So, Phil, let's start off here. It's TNA Emergence. It's on the TNA Plus app.
Yes, sir.
So when you look at this card, it's basically 5 matches plus what they have a pre-show, which you can want to be on YouTube. How nice is it where you're not watching a full card going, okay, it's gonna be 5 hours, it's gonna take forever, and oh god, this is just after a while you're like, I forgot the first 4 matches because the last 3 have been like forever.
Well, not only that, Chris Connor, but and it's a pleasure to be here, by the way. Thanks for having me back. Not only that, Chris Connor, but all of these matches have significant story behind them. All of these matches have a reason to care about them for the most part. If you watch if you watch every show, TNA, they do tremendous backstage work, in-ring work. The way they produce their television's amazing, and they focus on the storytelling first. Which is important because wrestling is storytelling. A lot of people go, one aspect of telling story is in the ring. Yes, of course, but that's like a chapter in the book of the story is the match. It's like a page in the book, right? It's like, imagine you open a book and it's just dudes you don't care about fighting, and then you're forced to try and pop for their spots and care about what they're like the things that the storytelling you do in the match should play into and play off of the surrounding beats of the story and to progress the other elements of the story that don't necessarily happen in the ring. And so TNA is just shrouded with story, shrouded with feuds and overlapping cross promotional. They have NXT sort of interwoven in there, and I love the short amount of matches. There's a few multi-man ones. I know we're gonna get into all of them, but we sort of have like female warfare and male warfare as far as division wise on this card, and they end to a lot of this system stuff that's been like plaguing TNA, if you will. That's been like the overarching story for a long time, is like, okay, the system's here, they're looming, they're scooping up the belts, and this seems to be like, okay, we're gonna put an end to this at Emergence, and emerging from it, hopefully a new TNA champion, or I don't know, we'll get into it, but we're moving into the NXT versus TNA warfare is like the next step, I feel like. We're going to dive more into that because the TNA versus the system warfare is sort of coming to an end here with Emergence. At least that's the way I view it watching the show. And you brought up AEW, and not to lower one to raise the other, but at AEW All In, what did everything really culminate in? There wasn't too many crazy stories. The only real long-term story that was told there was Tony versus Mariah May, but that's a whole other story here. So Emergence.
So let's start off with the first match. It's Mike Bailey versus Zachary Wentz versus Riley Osborne versus Jason Hotch versus Hammerstone versus Laredo Kid. And on one hand, this is the kind of match that Mike Bailey thrives in. It's a lot of high spots, a lot of action. It's fast paced. This is what when we see him in action, this is his kind of match. Downside, look, nothing against Mike Bailey, but you know, Ali did such a fantastic job with the X Division that you almost look at it, it's like, huh, because you start realizing that three out of the four guys here probably aren't don't have a chance in hell of winning it, and the champion is a guy who is not the greatest on the mic. He's a nice guy, very solid, great backstory, but he's not the guy who you can put on the mic and he's going to all of a sudden entertain the crowd.
Yeah, I mean, shit. Yeah, you nailed it there. Mike Bailey is the man. He's Canadien, moi aussi, myself as well. So, shout him out. And I love that he is the X Division champion. They built up to this. Mustafa Ali worked out his dates, and a lot of people were clowning on Mustafa Ali for going on that undefeated streak. And New Japan said, "Hey, we'd love to have you in the G1 or whatever." And he's like, "Sure, but I can't lose one time and I have to win the whole thing." And they were like, but he did that to give Mike Bailey a moment in Canada, at the pay-per-view in front of his wife, the last one. And Mustafa Ali passed that X Division title on. And with a division that we do need to decide here, like, who is the cream of the crop? Who's the top of the top here? We do need to decide that. We need to discern those things. And this Ultimate X match, I think, is a great way to do that. And I know Mike Bailey's not the best on the stick, but that's what TNA does well, man. They surround people who like, his ability is, okay, I'm a really, really good wrestler. So they surround him with characters who are going to tell these other stories. Now, obviously, they're trying to get Riley Osborne more over. They're trying to get Jason Hotch more over. Zachary Wentz, I feel like there'll be some shenanigans with the Rascals. I think we could see a heel Wes Lee show up here because we have people doing double duty. We have Zachary Wentz doing double duty this weekend. As far as showing up on Emergence and the NXT pay-per-view this weekend, No Mercy, which at Pro Wrestle Clips, youtube.com/at Pro Wrestle Clips. I'll be going live Friday for Emergence, Saturday for Bash in Berlin, and Sunday for No Mercy. And Chris Connor will be joining me, so make sure you guys come and check that out. But I believe Wes Lee, I don't know if you watched NXT last night. That show is phenomenal. And Wentz and Wes Lee were cooking, going back and forth. And Wesley told him, told Wentz, I'm an NXT superstar and you'll be nothing more than a TNA wrestler. So I think we see Wesley show up in TNA again, because he's already done it, fuck over Wentz when we think he's about to win this thing, and then Mike Bailey will just swoop in and win it, retain his title, which is fine. No one will get mad at him. And then Wentz versus Wesley's on Sunday, I believe, at No Mercy. So I think that's what will happen, and we'll see Mike Bailey retain, but we'll see Osborne and Hotch get a lot of shine. I think from this, we see a Hammerstone versus Mike Bailey feud. I don't know why they sort of abandoned Jake something in the from the X Division, because he fit in really good there, and then they just sort of plugged in Hammerstone when it's like, man, make Hammerstone a threat to your world title. I know he just came in. I know that we're paying off other people, but he's just got it, and he's been in the media recently saying, hey, if NXT wants me to come crossover, he said it, I will make the most of that opportunity. Like, he said in an interview, I will take that so fucking seriously if they will not regret it, So Hammerstone's the real deal. So is Jake something, but he's off on a bigger and better things, I guess. I don't know, but if it was me, I'd be building towards Jake something and Alex Hammerstone are my two main eventers in the next year. Like fighting over that title. They're the two main guys. So, but my pick is Mike Bailey, and I think this match will be one to remember.
If you're TNA, do you put it on a Hammerstone bone? Because as you said, he's the guy that you think might be
not the X Division strap. No.
And why is that?
No. Because did you see the work Jake something was putting in the X Division? Like, Hammerstone's great, but he is like a powerhouse sort of you know, in MLW, he's doing like the modern Hogan thing. That's what he should do. He's really good at that. Jake something does like these elaborate, tricky, cool spots where he like catches a guy, the guy flips off him, but then he catches him again, and then he power bombs him, or like, you know, or like the guy will dive out of the ring, Jake something will catch him, flip him in the air, catch him in some shit, and slam him. You know, Hammerstone. That's more X division-y, like for a heavyweight in the X division. Now I know that's not what the X division's all about, but you know, you go back and look at when Samoa Joe was in the X division. Well, the reason that worked is because you didn't see guys that size doing fucking suicide dives, and you know what I mean. You didn't see guys like that really working. So like that, who look like that, typically they would just, you know, come in and do Umaga type shit. I know Umaga's bigger than Samoa Joe, but you get what I'm saying. All I'm saying is Hammerstone is more of a guy like, just have him doing great character work, put a really hot girl with him, have him just flexing and healing. And I know he's more than that, and he'll show that in ring, and he can do some cool shit. And I know X Division's not all just about doing flips and flops. I know that, but I just feel like he's put him in your world. Imagine him as a heel Nick Nemeth's Heater or something like that, or him versus a babyface Nemeth or something. I just see that as money, 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 or like him versus a babyface Jake something. You know, I see that as money with the world title. X Division, I would just focus more on these guys you're trying to establish, and guys who can do kind of cool shit, because that's what X Division is. It's not a weight class. It's just like, who kind of does cool shit, come show it in this division. So yeah, I just wouldn't go with him. And not yet. Mike Bailey just won this thing, just had that big moment, beat Ali's undefeated streak. So like, what do you just give it to Hammerstone in an Ultimate X? Nah, dude, you have it. I think we get Hammerstone versus Bailey in a one-on-one after this, and that's the story that will spurn off of this Ultimate X match.
Eric Young versus Steve Macklin. This feels sort of on paper like, okay, they're going to rebuild Macklin, because at one point he had the title. He was the champion, got injured, and unfortunately due to a groin tear. Then he comes back, and he gets lost in with the whole, Rhino, PCO. He even gets, he's stuck even with, at the time, Scott D'Amore and Bully Ray. And this year they started to, after these feud with Macklin, they've been starting to build it back up again, where he partners with the Rascals, and then that goes on. Then he has a phenomenal match on Rebellion with Mike Santana. They trade matches. Recently, he's finally gotten back over at the Rascals, and this feels like, all right, well, let's start heating him up. Is he a guy that you see as a champion again? I mean, on paper, he fits the bill. He's a big, he's a pretty decent sized guy, 6'1", 230.
Who's that? Sorry, who's 6'1", 230?
Macklin.
Yeah. Sorry, I was like, not Eric Young. Yeah, sorry.
He's one of those guys who, after he left WWE, he literally reinvented himself.
Absolutely, yeah. Who was he in NXT, bruv? Who was he again?
He was one of the Forgotten Sons. He was
right, yeah. And those other guys. Where's like Jackson Riker? Was that him? Like, where are those other guys? What?
Jackson Riker, Wesley Blake, and look, credit to him. He went to TNA, got rid of the Wesley Blake thing.
Macklin, yeah.
Macklin, this hardcore sort of, you could call him.
He's MVP, bro. He got his world title run, and he was MVP, Chris, for a while there. Like he was amazing, and I started getting really heavily back into TNA during Macklin's run, dude. And do you know what I don't like? Babyface Macklin. I don't like that at all. I don't think he did. It's just not for me. And yeah, great size, great look. He's taking on Eric Young. Who's the face? And like, Eric Young's playing babyface again here, right? Like, is Macklin leaning into the heel more, or is it the other way around?
You're not sure. It's almost like Macklin's just like a tweener. And is that probably the best role for him? He's not a heel, he's not a face, but he's just a guy where it's like, all right, sort of a pre Stone Cold Austin, where before he was attacking everybody with stunners, when he's feuding with Bret Hart, and it's just, I'm here to just beat people up. That's all. I mean, is that what they have to go back to with Macklin, where he just doesn't? He is the lone wolf. He is sort of the outlier. He doesn't he's not in there for the system or for any partnerships. It's just, I'm here to beat people up, win titles, and that's it. And then you just go with the flow.
Yeah, I mean, they gave him his run. He made the most of it. I don't know this whole, like, I'm okay with like these legends getting their last, but Eric Young, like, start up a faction and shine some other guys up. Like, he's going on this last singles run. I mean, nobody, I don't know, it's gonna sound real negative on Eric Young, but
Oh no, I'm not talking Young. I'm talking Macklin though. For Macklin is his
I
best
know, I know.
role.
I'm
Yeah.
just, yeah, right. Well, I mean, there's not much more I can add to that. You pretty much nailed it. You know what I mean? Like, you nailed it right on the head. Who pulls this thing off? I'd let Macklin win, but uh, I don't know. Yeah, Eric Young. It's just, I don't want to see him in a singles run anymore. You know, I was really into that faction that never got a chance. The Sanity or whatever. They never got a real chance on the main roster in WWE there, and yeah, I want to see him do something like that. Although he did do that like Violent by Design group already, I guess, which is what, didn't Macklin, wasn't he a part of that or something? So, or he was feuding with, I can't remember. That was when I was sort of falled off of TNA. But either way, yeah, Macklin's the shit, and I want to see him win. And I believe he's Canadian. No, am I wrong about that? Or he's American? Yeah,
Eric Macklin is American. Eric Young is
yeah, he's
Canadian.
American. Yeah, Eric Young's Canadian, right? But yeah, I thought Team Canada, of course, one of the greatest factions in the history of professional wrestling.
So we're gonna flip flop these matches. Instead of going with 6 knockout tag match, let's go with the 8-man tag match. It's Joe Hendry, Mike Santana of the Hardys versus
Okay.
the System, Moose, Eddie Edwards, Brian Myers, and JDC.
And it should be noted too. It should be noted as well that JDC, so that's Dirty Dango, right? Johnny Dango Curtis, and he is now in the system, but he wasn't originally. But they've sort of adopted him in, and also it should be mentioned that in the knockout 6-man tag that we will talk about, that Masha Slamovich and Alicia Edwards teamed up. She is sort by proxy, she's like a hired gun sort of the system. So she is sort of, so in both of these matches, we're getting like the system versus TNA, and then the system versus TNA in the women's side as well. So I really applaud TNA for this, because after this, it's going to be TNA versus NXT. You guys will see that, and I think we'll see the systems sort of fall apart and feud with each other. I'm jumping way ahead. Sorry, Chris. Go ahead and do your job.
So who gets to win? Because for TNA,
Okay, so I think the Hardys win.
I know that, but if you're TNA, here are 2 guys. You got Joe Hendry, who right now is the hottest thing since sliced bread, and everybody's loving him. Mike Santana and credit to BQ Speaks and other people I've talked to, Mike Santana brings a different vibe to TNA in that he's, as somebody said, he is what you call that real hardcore cool, in terms of he understands the lingo, he understands how to be a sort of a man's man. He knows how to talk to the younger people because he is from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
If you're TNA, who do you want to get the win in this? Because on one hand, you go, oh, well, Joe Hendry's this. He's going to be the big thing. On the other hand, though, Santana's sort of, that guy who it's like, okay, unlike a lot of guys we've seen in AEW, he's not corny. He is a guy who's just sort of street level cool.
Yeah. You have the Hardys, Hendry, and Santana stand tall in this matchup and defeat the system, and then you start to see the system fall apart and start feuding with each other. That's where I'm going with this. I'm done with the system. They've ran their course. They've been good for what they were supposed to be, a bunch of unlikable fucks. You know what I mean? All lumped together. We're like, we're taking this over and stuff, and they did just that. It's time for them to be done. The Hardys need to win this match. Maybe go on another tag title run, or just because the ABC need new opponents too. Like, they gotta fucking start mixing things up here in TNA a little bit. And I think this is the point. We're there, you know. I think this is where that happens. So Joe Hendry, see, this is hard to talk about without the main event because we're getting Hendry and Josh Alexander. Like, that's going to spurn off of this as well. Hendry's going to be in the TNA title picture and the NXT title picture. I believe Josh Alexander gets involved in No Mercy this weekend as well, and to help Ethan Page retain. And if you watched NXT, you know that Hendry hit Page with a fucking move, pinned him, and then Trick counted the 1, 2, 3. Pretty much giving us the visual of Hendry beating the NXT champion. So what does that mean in WWE? Well, the NXT champion's more than likely going to retain. Hendry's not going to pin him on TV like that and then also actually pin him clean. It's not going to happen. I think Josh Alexander's going to get involved.
So, all right, so just skipping here. So once again, if you're TNA.
I am, but I'm just telling you that Joe can't get the pin this match. He has to be – he's going to be, like, subverted somehow. This is going to be like his story's like in another place. He's just a part of this as a TNA defender, right? That's the point I was making there. And that's why I also think Josh is winning the belt, but we'll get to that. But Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy need a big win, although they have had some good moments, but they need to break off of this. They need to be the two who break the system. That's the whole like thing they've been building up to. And then Santana's just a really over babyface. They gave him a fucking win over, I want to say Hammerstone at the last show, which I thought was not a good idea. Or it was someone got a win over Hammerstone. It might have been Eric Young, where I was like, fuck this. But Santana's doing great work. I agree with you. Like you said, reinvented himself as far as like a singles competitor since he left AEW. Really took his body seriously. Great work. I've always been a huge fan of his. And yeah, he brings this sense of realism. And what I think is you need to have you have to have like the Hardy Boys hit their finishes and then Mike Santana gets a pin. You know, because Hendry's already over like Rover. You don't need to do anything else to whatever, you know? So you keep him sort of as least involved in this shit as possible of whatever breaks off of this. And then you have him just sort of go more into that Nemeth Alexander route. You have Santana looking strong because he's your big player going forward, a guy who'll be in the world title mix as well. And he can go heel too. We know that. And so I just say it's got to be the end of the system. Now, I know we saw Moose get eliminated early in that 6-man match at the last pay-per-view, and then Nemeth ends up breaking away with the title, and there was a new champion guaranteed. But I think you have to really put it home like, no, they're done, you know? Like, they got to be done. You got to break them up and have them start feuding with each other because it's just ran its course, you know? I don't want to see more of the system. ABC need new opponents. We need to see Joe Hendry in that world title picture. We need to see Santana in that world title picture, or at least X Division title picture. And yeah, so I'm going with the Hardys and Hendry and Santana.
Our 6-women tag match is basically it's Spitfire and Jordan Grace versus Ash by Elegance and Alicia Edwards and Masha Slamovich. We gotta talk the elephant in the room here, and this is probably and this is not by me. This is by a lot of other people, including once again BQ, my guy over at BQ Speaks. This is probably the lowest in terms of talent right now that we've seen the Knockouts division. I mean, you look at last year, and it was at this time Emergence. You had Trinity, you had Deanna Purrazzo, you had Killer Kelly, Masha Slamovich, Courtney Rush, Jessica, Jody Threat, Kylan King, Giselle Shaw, Savannah Evans. You had Jordan Grace. You had even Tasha Steeles. I mean, you had tons of
Where's
talent.
Tasha at? Like, she just returned, and then did she get hurt again?
I don't know. She's not of his card, but look, injuries have killed somewhat. I mean, Kylan King, torn ACL in January.
Right. So
she's out. Killing
when's
Kelly.
She coming back? When's King coming back?
That's a good question, but I mean, she's up. Then you have
Yeah, so I talked to Killer Kelly on my podcast at Pro Wrestle Times on YouTube there. Go and check out my interview with her. I talked to her recently, and she gave me the scoop on it all because a lot of people thought she was released as well. Like people thought that like the dirt sheets ran with a fake story because her graphic wasn't included on the website when they redesigned it, and it got so bad she had to call TNA management because she thought that she's like, am I released or not? But no, she's not, and she's coming back. When? I don't know, but she was off filming a movie, but she was also just taking some personal time, probably dealing with this or that. But I know she's interested and she's eyeing up that knockouts division. That's all I'll say. And she even said it, militia's no MK Ultra. So I don't know, man. I can see her coming back soon. I can see. Yeah. All I'm saying is all they need is Kylan, Kelly, and Giselle Shaw. And Giselle's there, and I think she's next up. I think she's going to be the one to dethrone Jordynne Grace, and they're going to really push Giselle next. I thought Tasha Steelz was going to be like that. Like they see a lot in her. And she's fucking gone again. So I'm like, damn, I hope she's okay. I hope she's not injured. But they have women there. They got Giselle, they got Tasha, and all they need is Kylan to come back, and then they need Masha to not be tied up in this tag team shit, and they need Killer Kelly back, and then they're good. They got it right there. So I think they're just. Also, you can't have Jordynne Grace just defending one-on-one all the time. Like it's good to see her in okay, I'm Team TNA. Let's take out the system here because Ash, Masha, and Alicia all represent the system here. Let's not get it twisted. So I'm gonna go with Jordynne and them win, and I'm gonna go with Danny Luna and Jody Threat getting those knockout titles off of Masha and Alicia. If they haven't already, sorry, my brain is farting today. Sorry, I've been dealing with so let
me jump in here because let's talk about the elephant in the room that nobody wants to talk about.
Yeah, let's go. Whispered.
Jordynne Grace is probably gone at the end of the year. We've all sort of like, okay, she's not saying it, but it's just sort of, Well,
she did say when her deal's up. It's soon. It's soon.
Yeah. So it's so, and there's been whispers that, dare I say, Tessa Blanchard might return to TNA.
Okay.
Is that a good thing? And if you're TNA, do you just kickstart back up with the Tessa Blanchard push? Because whether you love her or you hate her, you have to admit she looks like a star. And right now, this is probably the perfect time to get her because she's still considered toxic by a lot of people in AEW, WWE. Right. She wants to get back. She said that. And if you're TNA, do you make that overture? Go, hey, you know what? Time heals all wounds. You said some things. We got upset, but hey, let's bygones be bygones. Let's have you come back.
Yeah, but I'm all for giving people second and third chances, and Chelsea Green pointed it out brilliantly on X. She said, the only thing we haven't heard from Tessa is an I'm sorry and accountability and saying, yeah, I did these things, but I was fucking young and dumb and on a power trip and I apologize and I'm a better person now. And I just realized like that shit, it wasn't right. The only thing we've not heard is an apology. Ronda Rousey. I just want to point out,
I know it's different things, but has CM Punk ever apologized for a little, flame war in WWE and like
what did he do though? No, hold on. He buried WWE when they fucking deserved it. When they deserved it, bro. When Vince was running shit poorly. Like we all look at it now. Like we all know Vince was fucking up. We said I know,
but do we care if there's an apology? Because everybody says, there's one thing about apology. It's like, oh, it's just I'm sorry. It's like, yeah, it's a bullshit apology. So
I don't, but it doesn't affect me. So the people who it affects, I think, yeah, they do. But like me personally, I don't like know, and I don't know enough about what she did. There's rumors she was racist and stuff like this, right? Right backstage, she was racist and rude and sort of power tripped. Am I correct on that, Chris? Because I'm not ultra familiar with even why people.
Yeah, but I mean, she is been accused of, and according to some people, has said racist things. She's been
Yeah.
accused of being a
So
bully.
apologize. Apologize. Say, I'm sorry to these people that I affected and I want to make it up to them. And I don't know how to do that, but I assure you that you won't see this type of behavior from me again. And I've learned and grown, and I'm sorry, I'm a better person. Like, if it's what Triple H said, if you're the same person you were 10 years ago, you fucked up in life. You have to evolve. I've evolved. I apologize. If there's anything I can do, if there's anything physically, mentally, privately, publicly that I can do to make amends with the people, to let them know that I have come a long way since then. I truly apologize. And Chelsea Green said it. She goes, "Yo, it's not that we don't feel bad for her, and it's not that we won't welcome her back. She just doesn't apologize." She goes on this "woe is me. I felt suicidal. I'm so sorry. We're on YouTube for this. I'm so sorry. Self-deletable. I don't know how to say it. Right? She said, "I feel these types of ways."
No, I know,
right?
but
So,
that's Chelsea Green, and with all due respect, and I like
right.
Chelsea.
But she
As
was there. She experienced it.
no, no, but as a famous, thespian Peter Griffin of Family Guy says, "Oh my God, who the hell cares?" Like, she's not part of TNA. She's not part of the bottom line. She's
I
not
know, I
part.
know, I
She's
know, but
so we don't. I don't care
here's the
about.
thing: TNA and WWE are working very closely together, man. This thing is way bigger than
No, I know, but
people
at
are
the end of the day, TNA has
people
to
are
go.
talking
We
about.
need
Yeah,
talent. We need big talent. We need people to draw. Otherwise,
yeah. So bring Tessa in, but
all
fucking
right.
Tessa, if you're hearing this, apologize. Say sorry to the people. To the people, I don't care about. I don't need to hear your apology. Do it privately. Do it publicly. Make amends. Fucking do what you got to do. Do what you got to do to make it right, but make it right. Don't play victim. Don't shy away, and just apologize. If you were fucking racist, apologize. A lot of people have said dumb shit in the past, man. A lot. No one's perfect, and all these people like to virtue signal and act like they're perfect, holier than thou. Someone gets a DUI, everyone jumps on them like other people haven't. I'm not saying DUIs are right, but like you've driven, you've been in the car with people. We were all teenagers. Everyone's stupid, so it's like no one's holier than thou. Right, so that's not what. So I don't care. Don't apologize to those people,
Well,
but apologize to
we're
the
gonna
people
move on
that
because
matter.
we're basically getting this thing dragged. So, main event.
Yep.
It's a 60-man iron match. It is Nick Nemeth versus Josh Alexander. I'm digging Josh Alexander as a heel. He in a lot of ways he's like Drew McIntyre, where he makes sense. You hear him and it's like, oh, you know what? He has a point. And that's the best kind of villain. Meanwhile, you have Nick Nemeth, who, look, he could have gone anywhere he wanted when he got let go by WB. He joined TNA. He is a name. He's a guy that has some clout. If they're trying to get a TV deal, if they're trying to get maybe the eventual, let's say, AJ Styles versus Nick Nemeth on TNA, Nemeth is the guy. So, what do you do in this match? Because on one hand, you're going, hey, I want Hendry Alexander. That's the feud, blah, blah, blah. On the other hand, you just gave Nick Nemeth the title. He is a guy that, is a mainstream person. What do you
Yeah.
do if you're TNA? Like, what is best for
Well,
them business-wise right now?
Well, Nick Nemeth revealed it today, before I hopped on here, that, or maybe it was last night, that his TNA deal was originally for 10 appearances, and he just keeps extending it. So I don't know how many appearances they have him for, locked in for. Because he's appearance based, I don't see this title run lasting super long. But that being said, I also don't see them just like hot shot. I could see Nick Nemeth doing business the right way. Obviously, he always has. Um, I say you don't. God damn, it's a 60-minute Iron Man, right? So it's gonna be the most falls, right? Um, Dang, this one's tough. If Josh walks away, I won't be surprised, but I would have Josh lose to Nick, and then that's sort of what makes Josh show up at No Mercy and be like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna let my boy fucking not keep his NXT title, whatever. Because I do see that. I know I said it way before anyone else. Now the whole IWC is like, oh, we're getting the North at No Mercy. Yeah, listen to PWT. It's why I'm right about all this shit all the time. But yeah, I think I could see Josh not winning it yet, but he eventually will. But if Nemeth loses, I won't be shocked because he's on appearance basis, right? So I'm pulling the Meltzer and I'm sitting on the fence and going, it could be this or it could be that, and I'm right either way. So I don't know. I'll go just to make a pick. Nick Nemeth retains. There you go.
We're gonna turn our attention to if that's Emergence, and so far it's a decent card. Once again, August 30th, only on the TNA Plus app. It's going to be at in Kentucky, in basically Louisville, Kentucky, at the Old Foresters Paris Town Hall. Let's go to WWE's Bash in Berlin, and like TNA, they're not going for the we need to have 12 matches, 14 matches. Nope, you want it in, you want out. It's a simple, just quick and easy 5 matches. It's Gunther versus Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens, the Terror Twins versus Judgment Day, CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre, and the Unholy Union versus Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill. Let's get this off away here. I'll start with Punk versus McIntyre. It's a strap match. What should we expect?
Let's go.
How much will there be shenanigans? How long does this feud go for? I mean, we got the first taste, and Drew won because Punk couldn't basically, keep his emotions in check. He let the bracelet get the better of him. Say on. They're starting to tease away from the bracelet a bit, but where do you go? What should we expect in this match?
This feud goes all the way to WrestleMania, through Mania. Like into Mania is where it all ends, finally. This feud right here. Now, they're not going to wrestle at every PLE, but this right here does not end until Mania. That's my prediction. Where do you go with this? Punk wins the strap match, and then they're 1-1. And then and I hope there better be blood. I want to see Punk bleeding like a stuffed pig all over Berlin. And, yeah. That's my booking right there, dude. Punk wins the strap match, and then they don't hook up again 1-on-1 for a minute. Because what's after Bash? What pay-per-view is it? It's who even knows? But Bad Blood.
So there won't be blood in this match because they'll save that for Bad Blood because it's basically Bad Blood. But all right, so maybe
we don't know though. A strap match without blood? I don't know, man. I don't know if Punk believes in that, dude. He's old
doesn't matter
school,
what Punk believes.
We'll see with that, but we'll see on that aspect. But all I'm telling you is that at Bad Blood, like, okay, these two will start being, in my opinion, if I'm going to fantasy mark book it, they're going to be in like tag matches. They're going to be kept kind of separate, but interwoven still. And this will all culminate in like, they might split it up. Like they might go 2-2 against each other in 1-on-1 scenarios. And then at Mania, we finally put an end. They might go fucking 3-3 and then, but someone will come out of this series on top. I think it'll be Drew, but ultimately, I just don't see this feud ending anytime soon, but I do see it cooling off a little after this. They both get their wins over each other and then cools a little bit, but yeah. Or maybe I'm wrong.
We got the Unholy Union versus Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, women's tag team title match. This should be easy on paper, but you give it to Blair, Cargill, they're the stars, they're what people want. How much do you worry, though, that if they win and the Unholy Union lose, they could just disappear? Because let's face it, Belair and Cargill, no matter what, they are the immediate sort of future. You know that they're going to be on TV. They bring ratings. They are the darlings. Jade Cargill was a big signing for Triple H. We could easily see the Unholy Union sort of go back to catering very quickly if they lose because it's like, well, okay.
No, dude. No.
You say that, but it's like
They're investing a lot in the unholy union. You can tell, bro. They're literally doing what the fuck I've been saying for a year that they need to do with these belts, and they're building the division around. I've been saying it forever. You can go back and check it.
But they're not
Unholy
stars.
union, or Katana, Chance, and Caden Carter. I've
We
been
haven't
saying
heard
one of those.
those two. Yeah, we haven't heard from
I
Katana.
know exactly. So they clearly said not them, but I've been saying it since day one. Like, those are your two real teams. Build the division around them. Okay? They don't have to be these dominating forces. Just have them fucking right. And then someone in my chat even said, put Blair Davenport with them. And I'm like, that's a great idea. Boom, they did it. So they're doing the right thing here. I think the Unholy Union walk out of Berlin with these belts. I don't think Bianca and Jade leave with these belts. I think the Unholy Union win. Everyone's like, what the fuck? And then, because why? Why, Phil? Because then the Unholy Union is elevated more, and then they go off and do more shit in the tag division with other tag teams, and it's all only elevated. And then Belair and Jade we can start to see that split happen, and we can start to see them break up and eventually get to that match. Now, I know a lot of people want to see Bianca versus Jade at Mania, which could happen, but I don't know. If it's me, you give the shocking win to the Unholy Union. Again, people are like, holy shit.
Yeah, I don't see WWE doing that, because let's face
it doesn't hurt Bianca or Jade at all, in my opinion, to have them lose another one and then break off into more of a singles feuds and shit. I don't think that hurts Unholy Union Bianca and Jade at all, and it only helps Union. If Union loses, it only hurts them, and it doesn't really help Bianca and Jade to be tag champs again, in my opinion. So
it's your opinion, but let's face it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I have a feeling, though, that Belair and Cargo go in because, as you said, they're the money vote. They're the stars, and
Yeah, but they're stars as singles, bro. There's more value in them as singles than a tag team. I truly believe that, because there's no division. Once the division's established, sure, but like, to me, they did with Bianca and Jade what they were trying to do with Naomi and Mercedes Moné. They're trying to build the division around them, have them boost up another team so that they can go back and be singles, and then you have teams that matter. So maybe I'm wrong, but dude, they've been putting stock in the Unholy Union. They're featured so prominently on TV. They're winning matches. I don't know. I just see them pulling it off in Europe again, and everyone being like, holy shit, they're for real, and then Bianca and Jade figuring their stuff out and starting to slowly become singles again.
You got the Terror Twins versus Judgment Day. This seems an easy pick of all the matches. It's going to be Judgment Day, because there's going to be shenanigans. There's going to be run-ins by Finn Balor, by Carlito, by JD McDonough. I mean, and as much as people love Priest and Ripley, you get the sense that eventually it's going to get to the point where they're going to need allies, because you can't just have them just destroy Judgment Day within like 2 weeks and then go, okay, what are we going to do? Oh, well, there's nothing. Oh, all right. So how much shenanigans should we see? And how much does it bother you, though, that there's still the unwritten rule that guys cannot hit women? So with Rhea Ripley, it's like, we're going to touch her except Liv Morgan.
We're going to see Rhea Ripley slam Dominic, and the crowd's going to fucking erupt when she does it. They've been teasing. So she's going to get her hands on Dom, and fucking he's going to bump around for her. It's going to be hilarious. We're going to get Priest and Bad Bunny against fucking Finn and JD. I can just smell it already. And eventually that'll happen, in my opinion, or maybe Dom is involved in that somehow. But either way, I disagree with you. I think we see the Terror Twins stand tall. I think we see them win, because why? How come, Phil? Because Rhea's not going to get that belt from Morgan. So the next match will be like Rhea against Liv again, and I don't think I think they're just going to keep that strap on Morgan, and I think it's going to take Rhea. Well, I don't know, because she already did do the Rumble thing, but
how tough
I
is
don't
it?
know.
I was going to say, how tough is it, as I mentioned before, that Dominic can't attack Rhea Ripley. Balor
She'll
can't
attack him.
I mean, when you look at the old days, that was always the thing of, this might actually happen. Like, Priest finally gets his hands on Liv Morgan choke slams, or Dominic really turns full on heel, whacks Rhea with a chair because of the way society is, for better or for worse. That's just not in the cards. I mean, Dominic there's basically the unwritten rule, which we all are
Doesn't
not
need to be.
saying
No one wants
loud,
to
but
see that.
yeah, that
No one wants to see guys beat up girls. I'm sorry. I know people are like, oh, what are you, sexist in wrestling? No, just people don't want to see it. Like, yeah, there's a small niche that are into intergender. And if a woman jumps off the top rope and hits a dude with a Hurricane Rana, we all pop for that. There's the exception, the outliers, like a Rhea slamming Akira Tozawa or whatever, sure. But it's not sexist to say, just people don't want to see that yet. And I
it's
don't
not
care if they
sexist.
do
It's
that or
just,
not.
as you said, it's tough though, because when Ray
Yeah,
gets in there, every of the heels have to sort of pretend, oh well, there's this invisible force field, we can't touch her, and
But Dom's a coward and Liv's a coward, so it doesn't matter. They wouldn't trust me. This is what you're gonna see. You're gonna see Dom do no. You're gonna see Dom do physical shit to Rhea. Trust me. You're gonna see him like grab her foot or grab her hair or do something fucked up, where the crowd's gonna be like, "Oh my god, you disgusting." Like, you disgusting man. Trust me, we're gonna get that spot,
I agree
and
with
then
the
we're gonna
foot.
get.
I doubt it's the hair, because once again,
I
that's
could
under
see a
the.
hair grab. I
Oh,
could
I
see a
can't.
something.
Not with a
And
toy.
then that's when Rhea just slams his ass, looks at him like, you little bitch, and just she'll choke slam him or something. Watch. It'll be fucking awesome. I can't wait. And this is going to be one of the standout matches of the night as far as like pops and like just sports entertainment. If you're a sports entertainment fan, this will be for you for sure. And I think though that the Terror Twins stand tall. I think in Berlin, because I think the Judgment Day are just going to keep fucking them around on TV and in further storylines. Like, because we're going to see like Priest and JD and Finn beating up Priest more and more as well. Like, that's not over with. And Priest doesn't really hate Dom and Liv as much as, like, he hates Dom, but he just is mad at the Judgment Day. Like, he probably fucking hates Carlito more than he hates Dum Dum, Like, Rhea's the one who really hates these two. Like, Priest just sort of has her back. You know what I mean? And vice versa. So Priest really hates Finn. That's really his goal, his target. So we're gonna see like there'll be shenanigans, but we're gonna see the baby faces stand tall here, because they're gonna get beat up more in the future. We're going to see Priest get really beat up more and more by the Judgment Day as time goes on. And I don't know what you do with Ripley after this. Like, have her keep chasing Liv and then get her belt back? I guess that's what you do. I guess. So, I don't know.
Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens for the undisputed WWE Championship. And I get it. It's Berlin, and they're going to cheer for everything. Giving them Cody Rhodes, this is just like, giving fat kid ice cream on a hot summer day. So
yeah,
this build has been terrible. And look, credit to all parties. They're trying to make it work. It's just,
yeah, we'll call it where it is. It's very short-sighted, just a mini feud. It's like AEW does this shit all the time, and we fucking clown it. So we'll clown it here. At least they do have a backstory of like, look, Kevin Owens turns his back on everyone he's ever been friends with. But it's that's like, what? That's fucking.
I mean, how much?
So does everyone. You know what I mean? So is Cody's done the same shit. So
I was gonna say, how much does it make you realize that the bloodline and Logan Paul have really sort of hurt SmackDown in terms of its bloodline, Logan Paul one tier, and then the next tier it's a huge drop off in terms of heels that are like, okay, we can elevate them to the next level, because you're looking, it's like, oh crap.
I do agree with you there, Chris. I do agree with you in the aspect that, like, okay, the bloodline, like, in Roman not being as prominent, although he's been back, and, like, the Logan Paul stuff, like, now that he's not there all the time or whatever, yes, that's affected it, but this is all premeditated and planned. Like, they're off of Fox soon, right? Like, WWE's moving SmackDown to USA. You see it. Raw's been the way. Raw, like, how many months ago was the not better show? Like, it was really great leading into Mania, then it wasn't so great, and then now the last couple months, Raw's been just banging. Why is that? Well, because they know, like, okay, we're moving SmackDown over here, and we need Raw to be like here's
No,
Raw's
I know,
gonna
but
be the shit for Netflix. So I
I
think
get
some
that.
of that's premeditated too. Like I think they knew like we're gonna move. Okay, Logan, go home for a bit. The bloodline's slowly gonna, like it's the SmackDown's gonna slowly kind of become a B show again. I think that's a little premeditated, but not to say what you said isn't like accurate as well. Yes, it's hurt SmackDown, but the thing is with this card, we can't have first off, we need Cody in a feud where it's not just people attacking and jumping them. We just have sometimes there's matches and there's been great feuds where guys just talk shit back and forth and they get in there and mix it up. So they haven't even really talked shit. Kevin Owens because where does Kevin Owens go? He just goes and loses to another guy. Like we haven't seen Cody versus Kevin, right? We haven't seen that match yet. So, we got to do it. When else are we going to do it? There might not be another
I get that point, but I mean, how much does it?
I'm just justifying it for WWE and letting you know why it doesn't bother me as much, I think, as other people. Because the focal point is Gunther and Randy Orton. So what we got to do...
Well, you're going to ahead of me here. Just let me finish. Because I love you, but you do this here. So I get that point, but for you, and I know we're going to talk about this could lead to a longer feud. How much of that is because you look at the rest of SmackDown, it's like, okay, Shinsuke Nakamura, Santos Escobar.
Right. No, you're right.
Giovanni Vici. Carmelo Hayes is still a bit young. You don't want to rush him. Baron Corbin, Andrade, AJ Styles were not even short. It's like, holy crap, they're either a little bit past what their prime was or they're just not over.
Or Cody's beat them already too, or like they're exactly like Santos isn't like, I'm not shitting on Santos, but come on now, you know what I mean? He's lucky he's in the title picture with LA Knight right now with the U.S. division, right? So all I'm saying here is all I'm saying is that that's exactly my point. That's exactly it. It's kind of dry. The wells run dry. We don't have an opponent really for Kevin. We don't have an opponent really for Cody. They sent Randy over to Raw as well to do this Gunther match because, again, they don't really have an opponent for Gunther either. If you really think about it on that Raw side, like who did they have that he didn't already beat or isn't preoccupied with something sort of more important or in its own right, whatever. So that's why I'm not that mad at this. It's like in kayfabe even, think about it. That makes fucking sense. Like, what is Cody going to do? Be like, I want Jacob Fatu for my title. Like, why the fuck would he want that? In kayfabe, it makes sense. Like, okay, Kevin's my friend. We haven't gone at it. He deserves a title shot. I'll give him a title shot. Like, if I fucking lose it, then I lose it. Like it's my friend. I'll get my rematch clause or whatever. Like, to me, you need some of that sometimes. Even in the UFC, you see two guys from the same camp and they're like, oh, we won't fight each other. But then sometimes you see two dudes who are like, listen, man, he's trying to get the belt. I want the belt. And this is just business. And we'll fucking shake hands and go out afterwards. But we're going to go handle business in there. We've seen that a bunch of times in the UFC, Chris Connors. So I'm just saying, like, it's bound to happen. It's because of what you explained that we're in this situation. I'm not super happy or proud of this, but this storyline, what was it supposed to be? Some shit overshadowing Gunther? Gunther's storyline ain't even that strong. Randy just showed up and was like, hey, dude, I'm going to fuck you up pretty much. And because they're so good on the mic and it's like a true dream generational match, like fucking Gunther and Orton, dude, this is crazy. Because of that, we sort of give it a pass and it's in Berlin. But really, that story's not that great either. So you're looking at two, like Cody shit can't overshadow the Gunther shit. That's why I think they sort of did this and why I'm not too mad at it. And in kayfabe, I can at least wrap my head around it. I know Meltzer's trying to be like, what? You would never turn down a title fight? Meltzer, Daniel Cormier changed divisions because he didn't want to fight Cain Velasquez. For shoot, brother. You don't know what you're talking about, Dave. And I'll white glove slap you for Chris Connor. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not that mad at it. Cody Rhodes defends the title. There you go. Boom.
We're going to end this with Gunther versus Randy Orton.
Am I not right, though, Chris Connor? Fucking Cormier changed divisions, so
that's a whole. You're comparing apples to.
Okay, but no. But listen,
no. I'm going to mute you if you keep this up because we're running out of time here. So
okay, all right.
Gunther versus Randy Orton. We know Gunther's going to win. That's not. Should we expect shenanigans in this match, though? Because as you pointed out, just like on Raw, there isn't really a number one option for Gunther if he beats Orton and just goes on to something else. It's like,
No
well,
shenanigans. No shenanigans. Gunther just beats Orton clean.
so where does Gunther go after this thing? Because it's, I'm guessing if people try to go, well, let's do Sami Zayn, there'll be a riot. Jey Uso is tied up with the intercontinental hunt. We still know Damian Priest has set his sights on Finn Balor, so that's off. And with Seth Rollins taking a hiatus, it's like, well, who else is Gunther going to wrestle? So could this, because I said, all of a sudden, you say there's no shenanigans. Could there be, just because you're looking going, well, this we might have to do a rematch of this just so that we can extend it, not keep all of a sudden rushing, going, well, let's have Bronson Reed Gunther, and then, yeah, well, we killed Bronson Reed. Ah,
Yeah,
we'll figure it out.
I could see there being a rematch from this, but no, I don't think there's any shenanigans. I think Gunther just beats him clean, and it'll be like a choke out where like Orton didn't tap, but he passed out. So then he'll be like, I didn't actually tap, so give me an I quit or something. Like, let me prove to you whatever. So it'll be some shit like that. We'll get a rematch, but I don't think. Yeah, that's what do you do with Gunther? You just have him rematch Orton, and then you just mix things up. Like there's gonna be mix-ups as far as like wrestler. Like Orton just jumped over. They're clearly changing things around with SmackDown. It depends too. Do they keep Gunther heel, or do they try and make him a baby face? Because it seems like there's more heels for him to fight over on Raw. But I don't know. Pretty much we've seen all the matches. So we saw Bronson Reed squash Braun, but Braun would be a good match for Gunther. I don't know who else, honestly, right now. It's just that's why I know everybody's like, oh, like don't sign. Or I know you're always like, don't. What are we gonna do with all these guys? It's like, bro, there's infinite room for these guys. Like we need more guys, especially with these long title reigns, because then we're running out of people for champions to fight. So that's when you rotate people in and out. And for instance, like Seth is taking time to cool off. When he comes back, he's still going to be just as over. So like if fucking, if Drew McIntyre goes away for 2 months, it's not going to hurt him if they bring whoever the fuck else in, is all I'm saying. But I don't know. They're starting to show guys like Ethan Page off on the main roster, like sitting in the crowd and all that. And I think he gets called up sooner than later. So, and I'm not saying like Gunther versus Page is this big draw or anything, but there's guys in the wings. And if they move Gunther into more of like a baby face, like the mat is sacred, and people start getting behind that, even though he's clearly the heel in this match, then you have him fight Bronson Reed and these other heels that are looming.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we're always proud to have on the show. I give you it's from Pro Wrestle Times himself. I give you it's Phil Marks. Phil, before we let you go, where can fans check you out at? Where is the Twitter, Instagram, the website? Where can fans check out your podcast?
So my podcast is called Pro Wrestle Times Podcast. You can find it everywhere that podcasts stream, and Apple. Finally, after a year and a half of nonsensical, dumb, makes no sense. I have no idea why I couldn't get verified on there. Finally, I am. So go ahead. I'm on Apple now as well. Thank the Lord. But Spotify, everywhere you listen to podcasts. But also, I'm very, very prominent on YouTube, guys. So youtube.com/at Pro Wrestle Times is my long form channel with all of my long videos. And then youtube.com/Pro Wrestle Clips is like my main channel where I really interact with everyone. I make little compilation video, all sorts of cool content. Just go over there, check it out. And yeah, that's where you find most of my clips and my rantings and ravings. And that's where I go live every Wednesday and Saturday for Pro Wrestle Times live show. And this weekend, folks, I go live tonight, time cop. But this weekend, I am streaming Friday night for TNA Emergence. I am streaming Saturday morning for Bash in Berlin, and I am streaming Sunday afternoon for NXT No Mercy. So make sure you join me all weekend, youtube.com/at Pro Wrestle Clips. Chris Connors, thank you for having me, and I look forward to hanging out with you this weekend.
Phil Marks, ladies and gentlemen, once again, always honor, pleasure to have you on the show. We come back, a lot more going on here only on its Last Call. Last Call at the Alcohol, only on the Last Call YouTube channel.